Hey, I'm just gonna try to make a quick response here. I've had these notes on my computer for a couple of days now, and I want to try to get to them before they get stale, as it were. So quickly to discuss in the comments of my last video, the two things that I wanted to address are one, when I said the B theorist has the problem of describing the present in time, I did mean that as opposed to the A theorist, in that the B theorist, they say that there is no present, but I still haven't heard an adequate description, a B theoristic description of what exactly it is that we perceive to be the present. If it is an illusion, what is it that makes up the illusion? If there is no present, then why do we experience it? And yeah, for the most part, the answers that I've heard are basically just disregard the question, say it doesn't matter. But I think that if we're trying to make theories that correspond to reality in some way, then it's important to try to figure out these facts. So the other thing that I wanted to mention was that yes, I am an atheist and an eternalist, and it's a bit complicated into how that works out, but I'll try to get to some of it in this video and make a more in-depth one soon. But hopefully I can get to that by discussing what you discussed in your video. So in talking about the rate that time passes, to say that time passes at 1 second per second is falling into the trap of trying to make time two-dimensional, which has all sorts of problems. If you make time two-dimensional, essentially it's the same as making it 3, 4 nth dimensional, and yeah, it's just a loop that way. But if we look at time as a single four-dimensional object, then to say that at what rate does time pass is like saying at what rate does width pass. It doesn't, but that's different than asking at what rate does the present pass through time. If you're asking at what rate does the present pass through time, then that depends on the object whose present you're referring to. If an object moves 1 meter per second in space, then it's also moving 1 second per meter in time. If it moves 2 meters per second in space, then it moves 0.5 seconds per meter in time. So it makes sense to say that the present of that object would move at the same speed that the object moves. So we can judge how quickly something passes through time by how far it moves and at what velocity, which is, the same way we measure how quickly something's moving through space, only we have velocity in time, or we have velocity and we have time and length. So yeah, it seems to be a fair equation to say that objects move by seconds per distance in time. But this is where the atheist, presentist, and eternalist would differ. The argument you put forward would work for a presentist, and I do think that the argument you made was geared towards presentism rather than atheism, even though it sounds like an anti-atheistic argument. But if you can join atheism and eternalism, then it's not so much of a problem. So the problem that the atheist has now is describing where the present is in time. If there is a present, then it's moving. Then why is it at one point in time and not another? So the way I work it in my theory is my theory depends on random events, and for now I won't go into why I believe that random events occur, but it makes a lot of sense to me, and I have good reasons for them. But for the sake of simplicity of just explaining the argument for now, let's just assume that random events do occur. So if we look at an object's timeline before the event occurs and then place a change in movement along it, then the change won't instantly affect the entire timeline. It will move forward in time at however many seconds per meter its velocity and the laws of relativity say it should. So there would be two versions of the object moving through time. There's two versions of the present of that object moving through time. It would be the same matter, but if you look at it as from a perturantist point of view, then it would be separate objects. So yeah, then if we have these random events, then we have specific moments where we can actually say that's where the present is, that's how far it's moving through time. And to quickly talk about the other things you talked about, as far as the linguistics goes, it would make sense to say that the becoming red of the traffic light took place rather than the becoming red of the traffic light became. Or if you wanted to put it more simply, it came to happen that the traffic light became red, which would be proper English, albeit a little bit outdated, and so I don't think that that poses too much of a problem. So yeah, again, it's having the atheist and eternalistic points of view combined is the only way that I found that properly describes the present, although it does depend on random events, but I don't think that that's too much of a leap to take. But I'll get into that in another video. In the meantime, I am still curious as to what exactly the B-theorist argument is for describing what we perceive of as the present.